Hey everybody, grab your pencil and let's get going. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is draw some rock formations. I would suggest using a continuous line drawing with your pencil. That's where you do a contour, not picking your pencil up from the paper. Makes for some interesting shapes. You can do like a mound of rocks, like a big hill. You could do inlets. Just remember what it's like sitting on the rocks at Star. You also can go through and look at Star images just to give yourself some inspiration. Here I'm quickly drawing a horizon line for each of the pictures. Applying a coat of white in the sky will make blending the blue easier. And I'm just doing it really quickly. I'm mixing it actually on the paper. Adding a few little clouds, and that's just by dabbing my paintbrush on. And you can vary how you make your skies look. Try different things just to see what you like. Now this one I'm adding white, but I've decided I'm going to make it look a little bit like a sunset. So again, I'm just blending in some yellow, some red, and then I'm adding some blue at the top. Paint over the tape, so that way when you peel the tape away, you'll have a nice clean edge, and you'll be amazed at how pretty each one of your drawings are when you take the tape off and it has this nice edge to it. Now here I'm just doing little circular motions with my paintbrush to make clouds. You can just see I'm going round and round and round. And you see on that one I just added just a little bit of blue. And here another kind of sunset idea. Just red and yellow. Okay, now for the water, I'm just going with the straight blue. I'm not mixing anything. I'm going to mix everything that I do. I'm going to do it right on the paper. So I'm skipping. You can see where there's some white. That's because I'm not filling in every bit of the page. I am making sure that my horizon line's straight though. Unless you're looking towards the land, it would be perfectly straight. Adding a little red just to make some deeper colors. Now here I'm adding the blue first. I'm adding a little bit of black just to darken it way out to the sea. See how much darker? This will create like a contrast between the front rocks. And I just picked up a little bit of white. Now when I go to something like white, I'll make sure I wash my paintbrush in between. But I don't as I'm picking up the white. Okay, here I'm just doing white for the ocean because I've decided I'm going to blend again directly on the paper. There we go. And you can play by just mixing colors. The ocean would be, of course, some blues, black, white, and the red makes a nice little kind of a purplish blue. And again, adding a little bit of white. Now, I took the end of my paintbrush and dipped it in the white and made a perfect little circle for the sun. again, just blending some white onto the paper first. And you can add a little bit of yellow because that can make like a greenish color, kind of an aqua. And having some rocks out in the ocean, you know, when you sit on the East Rock side, you can see where there's rocks out. And that's fun to do too. Now again, remember, this is really fast. This whole painting took me about almost an hour. I say like 45 minutes. So again, I'm just using a different combination of white and blue. And you can see here in the distance, I'm going to do a little bit of land. I added a little bit of dark gray. So it'll be a little bit different than the other ones. And here I'm doing a few little wave shapes. I'm going to go back and add some crashing waves. There we go. I'm just adding some white. And over here I decided just to do something even more different. I decided to add a lot more yellow with green and then to come down and do some blues. Okay, now I have my flat edge brush, and this is what I'm going to do the rocks with. Now this flat one that I have has an angle to it. You don't have to have one with an angle, but I like it because you can get to the point part of it. So I added a coat of white that you saw, and then I picked up a little bit of black to make a medium, kind of a medium tone. Now I can't stress enough about don't overwork the pieces. See, I never have washed my paintbrush. Picked up a little bit of black and then the white. So I'm blending it as I'm painting. See, it gets a little bit lighter because I picked up more white. Now I picked up haven't done anything yet. Just still working with the same lighter gray. Gone back and just put white on top, and now I'm blending what's already there. And I'm imagining the shadows in my mind, like the tops where the side of the rock would be, that would be a little darker. Tops would be lighter. Again, this is just playing and practicing. I would recommend doing this a couple of times. When you have an afternoon where you just want to try painting, you know, you can watch my video just for a little bit, get some inspiration, turn it off, go try some stuff. look at some pictures. You can print out some pictures of scenes from Star Island there's a lot on the internet, just to use as reference. And then I'm adding some black just to make some darker areas. Now for this one, I was thinking I might make kind of like a brownish rock, because sometimes we have some that have a lot of vegetation on it, greenery. So to do that, you can mix yellow and red and blue together. And I'm just kind of using what's left of my paintbrush. I'm just cleaning it off in some other areas and going back with some white. And again, there are no rules. So you just play. And here I'm just doing like a dark gray, and I'm just doing the shadows first. I'll go back with a little bit of white. I've really been practicing not overworking colors and blending everything in so much. I know it looks like I'm blending a lot because it's going so fast, but I'm trying not to smooth everything out. I'm leaving some contrastiness between all the grays and the blacks. I'm still a work in progress though, because it's hard for me. Sometimes you get going and you want to blend everything smooth, but this is more impressionistic. It's good to see your paintbrush strokes in this type of style, I should say. And now I just picked up just the white, and I'm going to use it to go over some of the colors that are the paint that's already there, that's not dried yet, and it's just blending. And same thing here, just adding some darks first, because I've realized I really like adding the darks first and then just adding white to pick up, to make the lighter gray, I should say. And this one I've decided I'm going to add a little bit of pink. I mean, not pink, red, to make kind of like a purple and blue, just to make I think a purple tone will look nice. So now I'm just kind of blending it all together with white. And again, I'm going to do some of the crashing seafoam on this. And you can see I'm just dipping directly into my white, just a little bit. And then I'm using the end of my paintbrush, just the little point of my paintbrush, to flick up to make some of the white seafoam. And this sky, I just decided it looks a little bit too dull, so I'm just adding a little bit of the red with picking up some white and yellow just to make it more interesting. Same here, just adding just a little bit of color. Yep. So now I'm just adding the seafoam, little dots. I really like the effect of the dots. They're kind of watery. And if your paint is ever too thick, add water to it to make it thinner, make it flow. Sometimes we have heavy body or medium body acrylics and they're really thick, but when you're doing little pieces like this, if you don't want it to be too thick, you can just add a little bit of water to thin it out. And again, here I'm just doing white, the spray and little dots. Here I'm adding a little sun for the sunset, and I'm going to add some white because right around the sun, you know, it's usually really, really white. And then again, just some white highlights. Contrast is good, so just dot it on, don't blend it in. Adding the sun again to that little area with my end of my paintbrush. Okay, so now my painting is pretty dry. So I'm going back with just some color pencils to add some grasses. You don't have to do this part, but I just thought I'd try it in some areas. And here I'm just adding just a few little purple accents with a purple pencil, lavender. Yellow highlights from the sun. A little bit on the water. There are no rules, so you can go back and you could even use pastels or oil pastels. Again, I love the lavender on the rocks. I think it's really nice. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy, and it's dry, so I'm going to peel the tape off. This is the reveal part that I love. I would suggest going very slowly just so you don't tear your paper, but you use low tack tape. This is artist tape, but you could also use like painter's tape or washi tape, works really well. If you have to use regular masking tape, I would put it on some clothing or something first to get some of the stick off. Okay. So I'm just going to go back and sign each one of my pieces. And you can use these for postcards or little pieces of artwork to send friends. There you go.